the path to the prosperity of a nation. Let peace reign. On the news this evening, court strikes out suit seeking to restrain Governor Fubara from presenting budgets again. Rivers State Commissioner for Information regrets court judgment despite withdrawal of case. Rivers State government to investigate cause of oil spill in Onelga. NNPCL discovers over 70 illegal refineries in Rivers, Bayelsa, Abia states. EFCC to arraign former governor of Anambra State, Obiano, for fraud. On the foreign scene, Iran executes man sentenced to death in connection with mass protests. I am Constance Mega. A state high court in Port Harcourt has struck out the suit seeking to restrain Governor Siminalayi Fubara from presenting afresh the 2024 budget before the Martin Amehule-led lawmakers. Justice Chinwendu Nwogu struck out the suit for lack of jurisdiction. The suit brought before the court by the representative of Bonny State constituency, Oko Jumbo, and others seeks to declare the peace agreement brokered by President Bola Tinubu as unconstitutional. It also seeks to restrain the 27 lawmakers from parading and functioning as lawmakers based on their defection to the APC, as well as restraining the governor from reappointing the 9 commissioners who resigned their positions. Correspondent Emeko Tuka reports that one of the lawyers to the claimants, Emmanuel Rukari, spoke to journalists.
We hope to go back home and discuss with our clients on the next line of action. If you ask me as a lawyer, from my Lord's ruling, it would seem that he had delved into the matter for which parties have not fully been served. All we came to court to do this morning is to ask for an ex parte order for substituted service, because most of the parties have been served, some others we haven't been able to serve them. And that's why we came to court for an ex parte application to enable us serve the remaining parties.
Well, Mr. Rukari also expressed worry over the recent court rulings, saying the judiciary appears to be losing its role as the last hope of the common man.
It is rather embarrassing, I would say, that we have gotten ourselves to this level where judiciary is no longer the hope for the common man. But as it were, we will follow the course of justice, because asking us to go striking out our actions at this stage is rather ridiculous. You should allow the proper parties to be before you. All we are asking is, please, we want to serve them by substituted means, and the next thing is our action is been struck out.
In the meantime, the Commissioner for Information in Rivers State, Joe Johnson, says it is sad that Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court, Abuja, went ahead to deliver judgment in a matter already withdrawn from the court. While speaking with correspondent Onyeka Chinwosu, Mr. Johnson said the decision of the judge was unfair.
That's the situation. The president directed that the governor and his team should withdraw all court cases, and we did in obedience to that directive. So the judge that went ahead to give judgment didn't give us fair hearing and relied on whatever the plaintiff filed. It's quite sad that it happened. Governor did it to fulfill all righteousness and to de-escalate the unnecessary tension, and in total submission to the directive of Mr. President. So it tells you that whereas we are on our own path trying to keep to the proclamation, them on the other part are still pushing ahead. This is a sad development.
But a professor of law, Richard Wukocha, says the court can only strike out a matter if the plaintiff withdraws the case.
Because the defendant that withdraw his counsel, that's the Rivers State government. So it's not the petitioner. That's why I said the court will go ahead to make the others pray. As the court explained in the judgment, it claimed that the withdrawal of the defense team was an admission of the case of the claimants ahead and made these orders. So if the defendant withdraws, the case will go on. The rate of summons for instigating summons usually contains that information.
Well, recall that yesterday, Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court in Abuja ordered Governor Fubara to present afresh the 2024 budget to the Martin Amehule-led Rivers State House of Assembly, where Justice Omotosho nullified the 2024 budget passed by the Edison Ehie-led lawmakers, which the governor had signed into law. Now, the court ruled that everything the 4 lawmakers did was invalid, and the judge also admitted that the legal team of the state government had withdrawn the process in the matter. Meanwhile, a professor of Political Economy and Development Studies, Kiboye Aaron, is worried that the multiple court pronouncements in the same case will hinder good governance in the state. Professor Aaron spoke to our correspondent.
What is happening in Rivers State is some sort of judicial anarchy, because where we are now is up to whoever that is involved to choose what judgment he wants to obey, because we have courts of concurrent jurisdiction giving 2 different rulings. And since both courts are high courts, there's nothing anybody can do other than to choose. And I think this kind of situation that we are in Rivers State is not the best, and that is why we ask that politicians should also keep the interest of the people at heart. We play politics for 8 years. In other places, people play politics for months and then use the remaining years to govern.
Similarly, a political analyst, Zoe Tamunotonye, says it is disturbing that the court is contributing to fueling the political crisis in Rivers State. Mr. Tamunotonye spoke to correspondent Soibi Oruwari.
Courts are beginning to take side on the political crisis in Rivers State, and some courts are about to rewrite the constitution. The courts that have nullified the actions of Rivers State governor in passing the budget through the Eye Edison's speakership House of Assembly. The people they are ruling in favor of cease to exist as House of Assembly members as far as Section 109, subsection 1 of the Constitution is concerned.
In another development, the Coalition of Rivers Youth Movement has applauded the Federal High Court in Abuja for nullifying the 2024 budget of 800 billion naira signed by the Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara. While president of the group, Innocent Onunwo, in an interview with our correspondent, called on Governor Fubara to represent the budget to the Martin Amehule-led lawmakers for the sake of peace in Rivers State.
For us, as a youth movement in Rivers State, we welcome and hail the judgment of Justice Omotosho as a welcome development. Because Rivers State is too big for an individual or some group of persons who come and begin to declare themselves principal officers of the assembly. It does not work. The judgment of yesterday has clearly put an end to the agitations of some individuals laying claims to the leadership position of the House of Assembly as null and with the point agenda of this accord by the President.
Local State Chairman, National of Nigeria, accused Chike Hunwo of tearing up crisis in the state personal gain.
Chike Hunwo is somebody I don't want to join issues with. But in the prevailing situation now, I want to call Chike Hunwo to disease forthwith, calling names to our respected assembly members and the leader of PDP in Rivers State, His Excellency. He has been part of the whole of this time. So I want to urge the governor to take your instructions as a part of budget, represent budget for passing by assembly members.
On politician, philanthropy and development experts says strategic estimates across major sectors in Rivers State. Position head of update, Dr. Yagi is also the chairman of High Prince after he was awarded fellow good votes of by the environmental lawyer of Nigeria, Port Harcourt. He said concentration of developments in only Port Harcourt City and Obiakpo local government areas is responsible for not just the one city state, but for the underdevelopment in rural areas. He also identified lack of consultations with stakeholders before projects are undertaken as a major reason for project abandonment in the Niger Delta region. Now, he said the state is already a wet ground for entrepreneurial skills, entertainment and agriculture to grow. Well, Dr. Onwelagi added that the ongoing political development in Rivers State is an opportunity for political readjustments by politicians in the state and a ladder to climb by the oppressed and neglected. Still to come, NNPCL discovers 72 illegal refineries in Rivers, Bayelsa, Abia states. Stay tuned.
Stay on track with Nigeria Info.
And PFN Stone Bishop.
Thanks for staying with us. The Rivers State Ministry of Agriculture says it is not collaborating with the Association of Livestock Managers and Food Products Dealers of Nigeria, Rivers State Chapter. Commissioner for Agriculture, Victor Key, in a statement, said despite a visit from the group led by the chairman, Prince Sonny Okpara.
The show continues.
Apologies for that. Well, Commissioner for Agriculture Victor Key, in a statement, said despite a visit from the group led by Chairman Prince Sonny Okpara, Secretary Sam Fubara and Uche Ken, the ministry has not entered into any collaboration with the association due to the absence of their terms of engagement and contributions. Well, the ministry questions the group's affiliation with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, and the statement cautioned Rivers people to be careful about those who parade themselves as agents of the ministry and government. Now, while assuring that Governor Siminalayi Fubara is prioritizing the safety of Rivers residents, he said the ministry is actively enforcing state laws to ensure food safety through meat inspection, agro-produce inspection, and inspection of fish products. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission says it will arraign the immediate past governor of Anambra State, Willie Obiano, tomorrow for alleged 4 billion naira money laundering. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited says 72 illegal refineries were discovered across several locations in Ogbolo local government area of Rivers, Bayelsa and Abia states. And on the foreign scene, Iran has executed a 23-year-old man, Mohammad Gabadlu, who was sentenced to death for allegedly killing a policeman in anti-government protests in September 2022, where the protest was in connection with the death of 22-year-old Masa Amini in police custody for allegedly breaking Iran's hijab rule, where reports say Muhammad was hanged early this morning after 487 days of legal proceedings. Rights groups say his trial was unfair. And that's the news. But before we go, let's take a look at the highlights. On the news this evening, you heard that a court has struck out a suit seeking to restrain Governor Fubara from presenting the budget again. And the NNPCL said it discovered over 70 illegal refineries in Rivers, Bayelsa and Abia states. On the foreign scene, Iran has executed a man sentenced to death in connection with mass protests. The news was edited by Onyeka Chinwosu. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808 721 7215. I am Constance Mega. Thank you for listening.